Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and last night I received my much awaited Jacob Jerger Tarot of Besançon, or Besançon Tarot from Artisan Tarot. Now, I haven't unsealed it yet, so I'll do that right now. I'll flip the camera so you don't have to endure this, and then we'll look at the deck together. Ooh, look at this. It's different from the others. It's got a pink. I love pink. Pink is my favorite color. So it's got a pink cover. So I'm presuming if it is in keeping with all the other Artisan Tarot decks, usually the box is an indication of the backs. So let's tear this off. It comes with a sticker on one end, and you have to open it from that end because the bottom end is sealed, so we can't open it from the bottom. However, I have deck 35 out of 1,000, not bad. However, in the past, I've realized that when Artisan Tarot puts a seal on a deck, it doesn't damage either the sticker or the back. So I'm going to stick it on the bottom somewhere so that every time I want to reach for this deck, I don't have to further handle the sticker. So the outer part of the deck was sealed and the inner part is not. And I shall read briefly. The restoration is based on the 1820-1845 tarot deck created by the German-born master courtier Jacob Jerger. And in America, we would say Jacob Jerger, in Besançon, France. The original decks were printed from carved wood blocks and colored with stencils. Those are the backs. The Tarot of Besançon is derived from the earlier Tarot of Marseille. The most notable difference is the replacement of the Popess and the Pope, which we know, with the Roman gods Juno and Jupiter. Experts believe these figures were changed to prevent offense in regions with diverse religious beliefs. Other distinctive characteristics include the description France J. Jerger on each trump and court card. Additionally, the back design features a marbled paper pattern which originated from bookbinding practices in France and Germany and was common throughout the 17th and 19th centuries. This deck was digitally recreated by Christina Condor with the assistance of William Rader. They studied the decks preserved in the National Library of France and researched their history to understand the images. To create consistency, the same color palette was used throughout the deck. The misaligned coloring was corrected and details were also enhanced. And this is the first edition of 1,000 decks. Without further ado, let me flip the camera. So before I get started, I want to point out that I didn't know that I didn't remember that I had this, but I do have this one by Yves Renaud. Now, this one, I just read that it was from 1820 to 1845, whereas the Yves Renaud deck is from 1801. So I expect there will be some differences between them, but in the next few days, I will do a side-by-side comparison anyway, just to see how similar or dissimilar they are. They're a nice size. It's not a petite size. Wow, listen. Oh, that's a nice sound. I'm not shuffling them yet because I don't want to get them out of order. That's a real nice sound. But they are a little larger than what we're used to. We still have the Artisan linen, which is very nice. I'm seeing if I can catch it. There we go. Can you see that? And it's also on the back. And it's a little larger. Let me compare it with, say, a Lo Scarabeo card. I think this is Lo Scarabeo, yeah. Oh, it's much larger, yeah. So it's a bigger size. So we have Caucasian flesh color on the cat's face to match the gentleman's, and his hands. And you know, in this leg here, and then this leg here with whatever's going on with his clothing coming apart. But look at his shoes. Aren't they cute? I love the flower drooping. Just to fit it in the space, they had to make it droop. And as it mentioned, we have Franz Jaeger on the sides. So he's got like what is that? A bottle of something. And we have our Popess with her peacocks. Excuse me, our Juno. Our Juno with her peacocks. Something's going on with her neck there, huh? Almost looks like she's got a goiter. And we have Jupiter. For those of you who were curious about how to read and interpret the Popess and Jupiters, I did a blog article and I'll link it below. So we have the feature of a blindfolded Cupid. Aren't these interesting looking people? And we have this, wow, okay, we have the scalloped canopy. Yeah, la capucine. So we have so that's interesting. So I wonder if both Justice and the Hermit have like, oh no, it wasn't Justice. Which one was it that had the goiter? I'm sure it's my imagination. This one. So these two, they're individuals that have unusual physical features. Now, I could be completely wrong about that. It could just be my perception of how something was colored in, but here's a less confusing Wheel of Fortune, and we'll see when we compare it to the Jerger by Yves Renaud if there's a, because I opened this with you and I didn't do a side by side before I did this, and I can't really recall everything that's in this deck. So I wonder what Artisan Tarot made decisions on and what they left alone. So it'll be interesting. I always like to compare a deck that's recreated, a deck that's not a facsimile. Always like to see, I'd like to compare it to a deck, that's a facsimile deck if it's available, just to see. And a lot of times, I think, oh, look at this. This is beautiful. Boy, look at that. That's a nice, if I'd have seen this, if I'd have remembered this one, if I'd have looked at this one for Mosh's, I might have pulled it for an unusual looking Fortitude card. I forgot what I was saying before that. Ooh, look at the black and the gold here. Nice. Oh, I think I was probably saying something that, sometimes it's really advantageous to have a deck that's been refreshed so you can understand what's going on. And sometimes it's nice to have a facsimile. And there are times for each. Here we go. Now we have a difference from TDM1 where we have not only an indicator that it's coming from the heavens, but the arrow lets us know. Ooh, look how pretty this ground is. Well, yeah, I can show them together what's on the box. Okay, so yes, they're two different dates, so they're two different. Well, we still have this tuft of thing going on, but Artisan made it a different color, and we still have this going on, and Artisan made it a different color. So I don't know if this deck was really based on this deck, since this one was created in 1820. But there are enough similarities. So we notice the misalignment of the ink here, right? And that might be one thing that Artisan has. I've seen them do that before, where they just maybe, tweak the alignment sometimes so that's a little bit more refined. I love the application there of the ground. Oh, it's so pretty. So I haven't looked at my Jerger by Eves in a long time. Okay, we have in descending order for the swords. And if Artisan is, similar with this deck as with other decks, we notice, I've observed that they clarify what's going on with the swords and the batons especially. So we get the intricacy of the weaving. But it preserves the wonkiness or the asymmetrical, balance, right? It kept that, which I appreciate. Oh, look how pretty. Oh, that's so beautiful. We see that in other Besançon Aces of Swords. They're just very nicely done. Wow, that's very nicely done. Look how pretty. So the swords themselves are barely there. They're not colored in, right? But in the intricacy, we have greater detail. So I'm really, I can't wait to compare them side by side with the other Jerger. It's a very fruitful and bountiful Ace of Batons. And we're moving right along with the Ten of Cups. And we have the beautiful, that we see, the this kind of Ace of Cups and other Swiss decks. I know this is Besançon, but oh, it's so pretty. I love it. There's my boyfriend. I love it. I like the pattern work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And I will put their website down below, but I do believe to make it be a link, I have to put http://www.artisantarot.com. All right, I know what some of you were just waiting to see how beautifully it shuffles, and I can guarantee that it will shuffle very nicely. It's a little large for my hands. And sometimes I shuffle this way because I mix it up when I shuffle cards, because I don't always like to shuffle them in the same direction, because I prefer that they don't get a bend. Oop. Yeah, as always, as is typical with other Artisan decks, it's a nice shuffle. It's a real nice shuffle. So let me go off camera, come up with a question. I'll continue to shuffle, and my routine shuffle while I meditate is to do 11 riffle shuffles and 7 overhand, and then I come back and then I do a few on camera. So you know that I'm not staging cards or anything. But let me go off camera and think of a good question and continue the shuffling process. So I'm kind of curious how something will resolve. A few videos ago, I did a video and a reading on I mentioned my husband's car. I think it was when I did the Orbifold Tarot. When I revisited the Orbifold Tarot, at the end I did a reading on this car that my husband and I have leased. An electric car. It's now been about 5 or 6 days that we can't use it. It's in their shop. They have no idea what's wrong with it. It's an electric car. I think we have a lemon on our hands, but they're not, they gave us a loan. We didn't have to rent a car. They did give us a loan, but we're paying for a very expensive car. And of course, we don't have the very expensive car. We just have a loan car. And, it's starting to tick us off, So I just want to see how this will be resolved. Will we just be able to abandon the car? Or will the issue be resolved quickly? Let's see whatever the cards have to say. I'm very curious to know. So we have it, although it says 4, because sometimes those decks of your, didn't quite get the numbers right? So we have a 4, but it is a 6 of swords. So 6 is a harmonious number. It's a hopeful number. The car is an electric car, so that could apply to the swords a little bit. It can also apply to the communication with the company and how they're trying to make good. Fortitude. This card's popping up a lot lately. And the next card is, again, we see the reversal of the numbers, the way they're printed. 2, 4, 7. Okay, we have a 7 of coins. Now that's a transition number, and it's a number of, it could be a good thing moving forward. in the sense that 7 relates to the Chariot, in the sense of moving forward and being successful at something, right? It kind of echoes that. Now, the Suit of Coins is practical matters, money matters. So that seems optimal. It seems hopeful that we might be able to be recompensed for the money that it's costing us to have a car that doesn't run. All right, let's do the Quint card to see what else we can figure out. We have a 6. We have the 11, which would be 17. And we have 17 and 7, which would be 24. Minus 22 would be 2, which would be Juno. So I was hoping she would be close to the beginning, but let me pause and get her. So here we have Juno with her 2 peacocks. Now her body gesture above and below, it's just the body gesture that Juno usually has, but I'm struck by it in the presentation. So what I'm sensing is, because we have the 6 and the 7 here, both of these cards strike me as hopeful that, communication is good, we won't be losing money, or progress will be made in that department. But I think we also have to have backup and support. Juno is a goddess, so she's a higher authority. So it may require us to take legal action, although this is not necessarily a card of legal action. It is a card of higher authority. And in the context of the question, I'm going to apply the card to answer the question. And then here we have something that's sort of similar. I mean, again, it's not an authority, but it's having force, is having backup, having, some kind of armor to pursue this. So I think it's probably time for us to take legal action. And I think these cards bear that out, but I think also it will resolve in our favor. So I think it'll be okay. All right, friends, until next time, peace, be well, be kind, do no harm, and all that stuff. And I will be comparing this deck, as I mentioned, to the facsimile I have by Yves Renaud. And I will be doing a movie. There's a movie coming up on Monday. I'll be releasing, well, I'll have to do it first, but I gave everyone a chance to vote and to go to my community section and tell me your opinion. The 3 choices are Rear Window, which seems to be winning out, Gentlemen Prefer Ballons, and also another lesser well-known, Prisoner of Second Avenue, The Prisoner of Second Avenue. So there are three fun choices, I thought. And if you haven't had a chance to speak up on what you want, go to my community page. Tell me what it is you prefer to see. And if the majority rules. That's how it works. So whatever the majority of you would prefer to see me do a video on, that's what I'll do it on. And is there anything else? I don't think so. Until next time, friends. I already said all that jazz. Bye.